Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. This is a quote from Benjamin Franklin and comes from Goodreads.com. Before I continue on with my speech, I would like to address my sources, and they come from the following: Goodreads.com, IJM.org, and the Holy Bible. My name is Sharon Weber, and today I will be talking about the International Justice Mission. The three things that I will be addressing are who they are, what they do, and why they do it. Few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events. This is a quote from Robert F. Kennedy and comes from Goodreads.com. Who they are. The International Justice Mission is a non-profit organization that was established in 1997. The company is described to be made up of hundreds of lawyers, investigators, social workers, community activists, and other professionals at work in nearly 20 communities. This source comes from IJM.org. Gary Haugen is the founder and president of the International Justice Mission. Before he started this group, he was a very accredited attorney. The only requirement to work with IJM is a high school education, which means that all of the workers and volunteers come from a very broad range of backgrounds. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? This is a quote from John E. Lewis and comes from Goodreads.com. What they do. IJM aids those suffering from slavery, sex trafficking, sexual violence, police brutality, property grabbing, and citizens' rights abuse. They also provide love and support for victims of violence and abuse. They also bring justice for the weak and attempt to put abusers in jail. As according to their website, we can see a story of a recent incident that occurred in the Philippines, where men could purchase drinks and then purchase women from a local bar. IJM assisted in rescuing 11 women from this situation. The women had strong desires to leave this awful situation, and after an interview with an IJM worker, they said they want to try other things or look for other jobs. For me, that is a starting point for us to help them. This source comes from IJM.org. In another story from the International Justice Mission website, we see of an incident in February of 2015 when IJM assisted in aiding 333 slaves being rescued from a brick factory in India. One of the largest rescues that IJM has ever done, second only to another rescue from a brick factory of 512 people. The victims consisted of families that were forced into slavery, ranging from as long as 3 months to 3 years. Some being moved to multiple factories over time. The victims received wages that were barely able to provide minimal food for their families. And after receiving a phone call from one of the slaves, the government stepped in and got help from IJM to assist in rescuing these families. This source comes from IJM.org. We rescue individuals one by one. That's where our work starts, but that's not where it ends. This is a quote from IJM.org. Why they do it. So far, we've rescued more than 18,000 people from violence and oppression, and today our work is helping to protect 21 million people globally from violence. This is a quote from IJM.org. Also, as stated on their website, they are inspired by God's call to love all people and seek justice. IJM understands that the threat of violence and lack of prosecution and justice cripples the world's poor. There are lawyers, former investigators, and police officers, psychologists, social workers, church and community educators, and administrators. They are heroes, and there is no other way to say it. This is a quote from Jen Hatmaker. That's from the IJM.org website. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. Yes, speak up for the poor and helpless and see that they get justice. This is a quote from the Bible that comes from Proverbs 31, verse 8 through 9. In conclusion, the International Justice Mission has a lot of great things that address who they are, what they do, and why they do it. The International Justice Mission is changing the lives of thousands and making an impact on very many people across the world. After learning this information, it's up to you to either ignore the need in the world for groups like this, or you can join in and help make an effort to end things like this. Thank you.